Week 2 of the second stage in the CDL is starting later today, so I'm going to be doing my CDL pickups. Actually, before we get into the actual pickups, I want to talk about some of the teams because this is a big week for a couple of them. The most important has to be OpTic. They started off against Seattle Surge. Now, the Seattle team hasn't been doing the best in this stage so far, but they did just get second at the first major. They have great players in Pred and Sib. They just have a great overall team, the Seattle Surge team. And then they're going to be going up against Toronto Ultra. So both of these teams are, I would say, within that top 5 team range. And OpTic, they made a move by benching Dashy. They did pretty well in their first match versus Boston, but now Scump retires, so Dashy's back in. I don't know if it's going to mess up some of the team chemistry. This is Zeo, or however you say it, it's like Galatian or something for ice. I don't know. But if they go 0-2, it's going to hinder them moving forward. But regardless, it's going to be interesting to see how Hugh, Shotzi, Illy, and Dashy perform together. Another team it's a big week for is the Los Angeles Thieves. Now, yesterday, LAT came out and said that Capsule was going to be subbing in for Kenny. Kenny is under the weather. He's sick. His doctor told him not to play until he felt better. I don't know exactly what it is, but regardless, they're going to be using a sub, and they have 2 important matches. And now for the actual pick'ems, guys. Look, the first match of the weekend. It is on Friday, January 20th. That is later today, like I said. And it's also my birthday. Today is my birthday. I turned 29. Who cares about how old I am? Because the first match is the Florida Mutineers versus the New York Subliners. Look, NYSL has been great. I mean, if we look so far, they're 1-0. They beat LAT in a series where LAT should have won. And by saying that, I mean, LAT looked so good in the entire series versus NYSL, but they somehow were scrappy enough, no pun intended, to win that series. Like, it was very impressive on the side of NYSL. So when I'm saying LAT should have won that series, it's more of a compliment to NYSL, their teamwork, their overall greediness as a team, doing whatever it takes to win. Even if that means, you know, you're playing poorly individual, but you make the big plays, you clutch up. This NYSL team is probably one of, I mean, you have to say that they are currently the best team in the league, actually, because they did win the first major. I'm going to go 3-1 NYSL. This honestly could be a 3-0, but I'm going to give the Florida Mutineers benefit of the doubt, and they're going to get one on the board. And then the second series is going to be OpTic versus Seattle. Now, Seattle got second at the major, but they're 0-2 so far in this stage. There were obviously talks of Pred maybe going to OpTic. That fell through. You know, he went on stream and basically said he tried to do everything that he could. Him and OpTic tried everything that they possibly could to get him on that team. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I was Pred's teammates, I'd be a little upset about those comments. You know, I understand, you know, you have an opportunity to join OpTic, not only for yourself as a competitor, but also your brand moving forward. It's a good decision, but you don't go after the fact in the public eye and say, yeah, I tried literally everything I possibly could. You know, I wanted to get off my Seattle team no matter what. It's like, there's just better ways to go about it. You know, they know that it's not a bad move in terms of just like for your overall success moving forward, but they just got second at the major, and he made it seem like he didn't want to be on Seattle at all. And I'll tell you what, I think OpTic is going to come out strong. I think this is going to be a 3-0 in favor of OpTic. Zeo is coming back. I think Dashy might be a little bit more comfortable. You know, he gets another opportunity. This is big because I think if Scump didn't retire, which allowed Dashy to be back in the starting lineup, I don't know if he'd ever be on OpTic again. Like, I'm not kidding you. But now he has a second shot at this, or third shot. I don't even know at this point. So he has to make the most of it. I think he's going to come out, play lights out. I think the OpTic team is going to play lights out. Hugh and Shotzi on the subs is going to be, it's just going to be too much for Seattle Surge. And Seattle is just, they're in a rough stage right now. So I really have to see how they can bounce back from this, because they're most likely going to be in losers bracket in the second major. Moving on though, Toronto Ultra versus LAT. As much as I want to, you know, be biased, and I could so easily be biased, I'm going to go Toronto Ultra. I think this is going to be a 3-1. It's just tough. I mean, Toronto is most likely the better team right now anyways, even with Kenny. But Kenny's out. They brought in Capsule. They just don't really have that much time to practice. I think LAT has a chance if they let Capsule just do whatever he wants on the map, because when it's so late, you don't want to try and force that player. You don't want Capsule to be forced to play like Kenny, okay? Because this is only going to be the roster for this weekend, I'm assuming. But so you might as well just let Capsule do whatever he does to make him comfortable, right? His playstyle, and Octane, Envoy, and Draws need to kind of play around him for these matches. If they do that, it's possible. It's possible to win a series, but I just don't think it's going to happen versus Toronto. Then for the matches on Saturday, guys, we have the Las Vegas Legion versus Boston Breach. Now look, Boston supposedly has been the Don Juan's, like the final boss online in scrims, but they did lose to OpTic in the actual match. And Las Vegas is probably the best S&D team in the game right now, which is surprising. But I'm going to go with an upset, or I don't even know if you call it an upset. Vegas is currently 1-0 in this stage. Boston is 1-1, but I think Vegas is going to clutch up. They're going to Neslo it. They're going to win 2-3-5 versus Boston Breach. They're going to go 2-0. And I don't think anyone's expecting that, but I just got a feeling. And then we have London versus LAT. Now, this is a bounce back for LAT. Even though they're most likely going to be in losers, because I had them losing Toronto Ultra, making them 0-3. Who knows, though, they might get lucky if things go their way, if they kind of fall in their favor. But London is also in an interesting spot because Paul X is back. Okay, Trey Zero got benched. I don't love this London team. I think Asim's been great. I don't think anyone else on the team has been particularly solid, let alone great. So I think LAT can clutch up, win this. I do think it's going to be a close series, but I have LAT 3-2. And then we have another big match for OpTic, guys. This is going to be OpTic versus Ultra. Now, look, I'm really riding the high horse on OpTic here. I think they will win this series. I think it's also going to be close. It's going to be 3-2. I just have a feeling. I mean, knowing me, they're probably just going to get absolutely bodied by Seattle and Toronto. But I have a feeling that they are going to come out with a new sense of energy. And I'm just expecting Dashy and the rest of OpTic to play fantastic in this week 2. Actually, I mean, honestly, in the whole stage, but more importantly, in this week. And then we have Minnesota versus Atlanta FaZe. Look, man, I got Atlanta FaZe 3-0. They've been firing on all cylinders. Minnesota has not looked good recently. Don't really need to speak much more on that. I think Atlanta FaZe is definitely top 2 team in the game right now. And they're trending upwards. And then we have London versus Las Vegas Legion. I have Las Vegas winning this series as well. So they will be going 3. And I have Las Vegas winning this series as well. So they will be going 2-0 on the week. And they will be 3-0 in this stage. I'm not high on London. I'm actually very low. Arguably the lowest that I could possibly get on a team. And that's basically all that needs to be said. Minnesota Rocker versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Now this LAG team is the LAG Academy. Well, it used to be the LAG Academy plus Arcitics. They're a lot better than LAG was before, and I'm excited to kind of see how they improve as a team. I think this is going to be a very close series, but Minnesota will come out on top and win 3-2. And the last match of the weekend, guys, we have an absolute barn burner. This is going to be Atlanta FaZe versus the New York Subliners. And I'm going to be honest, I have Atlanta FaZe coming out on top. Like I said, I'm very high on them right now. I think they're going to hit stride. I think even though I have a 3-1, this series will be very close in the games themselves. But that's it. Those are my pickups for this week, guys. Let me know in the comments what your pickups are. Also, maybe say happy birthday to me if you guys like me. If you hate me, just tell me to kick rocks.